Hi everybody, my name is Maor and welcome to my YouTube channel. So this video is going to be about tips and tricks of how you can actually explain to society, people in your life, that you are dry fasting or experimenting with intermittent fasting. This is about the people who ridicule it, people who think that you have lost your mind, people who are concerned about you, people who actually love you. Now, we have quite a lot of information on this, so stay tuned. Now, when we begin the journey of discovery about the human body, about our capabilities, one of the things we learn is that we are full of obstacles that are stuck in the body. The detox itself, sometimes it's a physical level, sometimes it's emotion, sometimes it's things that are actually stuck in some level that we don't understand them, but they are in the body. And then we're trying to find different ways of cleaning them up, and one of them is to fast. Now, there's different levels of fasting. If you watch one of my other videos, I'm talking about dry fasting, which is the ultimate, and then there's water fasting, and then there's juice. And all of those are different levels because it's like the hardest on the body. In other words, the symptoms of the detox are going to be profound. You're going to feel them much more intensely when you're dry fasting, less when you're water fasting, and less when you're juice fasting, which is pretty much easy. Right now I'm teaching the Johnson & Johnson employees, and there's 40 people here, and we're just juice fasting all together. And it's really easy for them for 2 days. So if before that they wouldn't imagine that they can do it for 2 days, now they're like surprised, and now it's going to become into their program, and they're going to create a habit out of it because it's super healthy. Now, when you're trying to explain to people, people don't really like it when something changes, especially people who are closer to us. Now, think about it this way. You became a vegetarian or you became a vegan, and now you're going out with your friends, and your friends still eat meat. On some level, you have changed, and they don't like the fact that you have changed. On some other level, they know that compassion is something that is very, very important, and they don't feel comfortable completely, not on a conscious level, with your new habits, because that means that you have made some sort of progress and you have some sort of discipline that they don't have. So what they actually try to do is to get you back into your old habit. And again, don't judge them for it, simply accept it. But it's the same thing when one person becomes in better shape. You know, you grow some muscle, you have a better body tone, and things like that. And your friends might be a little bit jealous. So they don't really like it. So they judge you. They won't judge you for being in shape. But they will tell you things when you become a vegetarian like, oh, you're eating my food's food, and you're going to be lacking B12 and iron, and studies have proven that it's not healthy for you, and look in this and this and this and this. Okay? So society wants to judge you, and you need to be strong enough to withhold judgment back, and not with anger. For example, when you come to pet a dog, and it's a big-ass dog, okay? But if you display some sort of fear, the dog will sense it, and the dog will actually bite you, or will attack you, or will be aggressive. But if you're confident about it, then you know who you are, and you know that the dog is not going to bite you, okay? You know it, and you come to pet him, and he feels that, because in a relationship with the dog, you're the alpha. So the same thing with parents, the same thing with spouses and with our friends. They will feel if there is a crack in our shield where they can go in. And I'm going to teach you a few tips about what you can do about this. Now, it really depends on you, how much you are fasting. If you have lost some muscle tissue, if you have lost some weight, and you kind of like look bad, or you overdid it, or you're going for a 5-day dry fast, which is considered to be quite long for a beginner, and you have to explain it. It depends if you're doing it in your house or you're doing it outside of your house. And really, it depends on you, how powerful and strong you are. One of the tips I can tell you, and this is what I tell my students after the initiation, after the Breatharian initiation, when we actually do quite a long dry fast, and afterwards we continue fasting on liquids. I tell them, okay, first thing, mom, dad, spouse, I know that I'm trying something new. And in 2 months' time, when my body integrates this type of lifestyle, it doesn't matter if it's once a week or twice a week, I know that I'm trying something new, and in 2 months' time, when I'm fully integrated, I'm going to take a blood test. And after, I will share that blood test result with you. So you have absolutely nothing to be concerned, because what they need is some certainty that this is going to be over at some point. So again, they want some sort of certainty from you, that because for them, for people in your life, Food is security. Food is survival. And what you're doing is you're moving them out of their comfort zone by saying, guys, I think food is something completely different, and I'm going against everything that I've been taught. In other words, I don't believe in the 3 meals a day. I don't believe that I have to drink 2 liters of water. I don't believe that I have to take supplements. I understand now that my body can endure much more, that ancient men didn't have to eat every day, and it's the healthiest way of life. Another thing that you can do is use science. Science right now supports longevity through caloric restriction. In other words, there are many, many different scientific studies that show that when we decrease the amount that we eat, we actually live longer. And the explanation is that the body actually begins cleaning itself and becoming more effective and more productive in the system that it already has. In other words, it says, I'm not going to get anything from the outside, so I might as well become more efficient in the systems that I currently have. You can actually use a metaphor of driving your car. If you drive your car quite a lot, then you have to change the filters more often, then you're going to wear it out in some way, right? But the same thing with the human body. One of the heaviest systems is the digestive system. You can, by the way, always send them to one of my videos that explain quite deeply about these different subjects. So we can use caloric restriction when we explain it to them. If they feel uncomfortable and we are fasting, and it's a social thing, depends on the type of fast, you can always join them in their meal. You don't have to you don't have to participate in the meal. If you're dry fasting, then of course you can just take a walk, 10 minutes around the block. You don't have to be there. And again, it depends on you. If you want the social pressure or if you want the social challenge, it's also good because it makes you a stronger person to stand in front of those that may ridicule you and your way of life or your choices. The other method is that if you're drinking, then drink with them. Sit with them and drink a juice or water or whatever it is, or a cup of tea, so they don't feel that you won't feel that you're being alienated, and they won't feel like you're doing something that is not okay. Plus, you can always tell them it's just 24 hours, it's something healthy. Many people detox these days. So as you can see, there's many, many different ways of dealing with it, and it depends on the person as well. For example, my father is an Orthodox Jew. So when I explain to him about why I'm fasting occasionally, I actually use, I say it's the angels. It's the way that Moses fasted and Jesus fasted, and all these, old prophets or ancient prophets that actually did it to cleanse their body to become more spiritual and connected with God. Because it's embedded in every major religion. So again, that's because that's my father. If it's somebody that is a doctor, then doctors also understand this. Half of the doctors are supportive of this, and half of the doctors are not. Half of the doctors, that within 8 or 9 years that doctors study their degrees, there's only one course on nutrition. One course on nutrition. Nothing else. And of course, we understand that there's a conspiracy that talks about medicine companies and the fact that the doctors are being, they've been taught and persuaded to always only use medicine, and that's not really preventive in any way. It's actually just, covering, it's putting a bandage on something instead of preventing it to happen again. So it really depends on the individual that you're talking to. Sometimes you can tell them, why don't we do this together? And let's try only once. Never ask for something that requires a lot of commitment. Only once, one time, 24 hours out of your life. Let's try a water fast. Skip 2 meals. It's easy peasy. Let's do this together. And a lot of the times they will feel quite great in the end after the detox symptoms are over. If it's not the first time, the second time or the third time, once the body gets used to it, you can do everything. You can work, you can make love, you can have sports, you can do everything that you want. So you can actually bring them along with you, but don't expect everybody to go along with you. Usually the type of people that do this, we are the health addicts, we are the spiritual addicts, we are the weirdos of society. So not everybody, goes with it. But I can tell you that when they will become sick, something minor like the flu or something big like cancer, one of the alternative things that they're going to find is a change in diet towards juicing much more, towards having much more fasts, because that cleanses the body in the most natural way. There's one more thing that you need to consider, and this is individually to you. Think about why you're still trying to prove your worth. Think about why you're still trying to adapt to other people's expectation of you. In other words, you're trying to please other people, and that actually means that you're not in full trust. It actually means that you're not really integrated into your true self. If you've chosen to do this type of lifestyle, to fast occasionally or even one time and to experiment, people in your life should accept it. And if they don't, there's something that you should do about it. I'm not saying, break up your relationship, or I'm just saying take some distance. I'm just saying express it. Express it in a way that talks about your emotions in a non-violent communication type of way. Express the fact that this is a choice that you have made and they should be supportive of it. Don't judge, don't fight, because that's an ego fighting with another ego. Nobody's actually listening. But you should think and consider, why are you still trying to please other people? And that, in my book, I've written about the 5 levels of spiritual awakening. And levels 3 and level 4 deal with the fact that we're still trying to prove our worth in our society. Without understanding, we're trying to belong in some way, in the relationship, in the community, in the family, in the religion. But when we become the all-powerful us, we don't need to prove our worth. We know our worth. And this is something for you to consider when we're talking about these type of things, people judging us and how to explain it to family and to friends and stuff like that. When you know who you are, you won't need that much explanation or to prove to others. You will just be yourself, and that's the amazing part. So, like always, thank you very much for staying all the way to the end, my friends. Over here, I'm going to put another link to one of the videos that I think that is recommended right after this video. And of course, one of the other videos that YouTube is going to recommend to you from my channel. If you're going to take this lifestyle very, very seriously, even consider joining a workshop. Namaste, and I will see you in my next video.